In today's video, we are sharpening the family's chef knife, the Shun 8-inch Reserve, which came out I think in 2013 and then was promptly discontinued. The steel is SG2 Damascus, and the edge is a bit chippy. Since this is our daily driver, we're going to have a few chips I'd like to work out and then bring it back up to a usable edge. The Waterstones have been soaking for about 15 to 20 minutes for the sake of the coarser stones mainly. We'll start out at 250 grit to work out the chips. This is a King combination 250-1000 grit stone. It started from the factory with 16-degree final bevels. I have no idea what the bevel is now. I gave up worrying about the exact angle as I exited my Gatco Lansky DMT aligner phase maybe about 10 years ago. It corresponds with experience. As you get better at holding a consistent angle, you also get used to certain angles, what you like, what suits a particular knife, and how you like to keep it. If you're just learning to sharpen freehand, then the angle guides and so forth can be a good reference and a good place to start. Using a Sharpie to mark the bevel to see where you're working is also a good help. This is what the 250 grit abrasion looks like next to the size of the chip. I think a 400 to 600 grit stone would be more appropriate, and it's on my list to acquire one. Moving up to 1000 grit, you can really hear the difference. As far as Waterstone specific technique, I don't think I do anything too out of the ordinary. I'm mostly self-taught except for the advice I got from the guy at the Woodcrafters where I bought my first Waterstone more than 20 years ago. Before that, using oil stones, I always used a trailing only stropping type technique because that's how my dad taught me. I think he didn't want me to hurt myself. Now I'm going to stop off at 4000 grit, which you certainly don't have to. You can go directly to 6000. I like to use a tighter progression because I can, and I like to. I'm not in a hurry, and that would be silly. If you're in a hurry, then Waterstones probably aren't for you. I didn't do a great job of clearing the burr at 1000 grit, so you can feel and hear it's really crunchy, so I'm going to rinse that off. 3 or 4000 grit by the Japanese standard is where the knife's edge really starts to arrive, in my opinion. You could easily stop here, and for certain applications you should. The apex is honed down nice and flat. It gets harder and harder to take pictures at this point because that white haze is replaced by the promise of polish. I'm not going to tell you how many strokes, etc. to get from one phase of the sharpening to the next. Practice and experiment and observe until you figure that out for yourself. That's the best way to go. Once you move on to the next knife, a different profile, a different steel, a different stone, you just gotta learn and figure that out for yourself. Spending time on the stones is the only way you're going to get there. Moving up to our final stone at 6000 grit. I really like the Nagura on this one because we're polishing at this point and it yields better results in my experience. Also, this particular King 6000 loads up a bit and it gets these little circular spots that makes the movement jerky, and So keeping it conditioned makes it perform better all around. And having that slurry in there helps the polishing action. I've been curious if the King KDS, the more modern, aggressive style stone, has the same issues and the same feel as this entry-level KW65. Okay, that's looking just how I want it to at this stage. We can quit and pretend we didn't just waste this much time sharpening a knife, or we can keep going. I say keep going. Stropping falls into two basic categories. True stropping with little or no abrasive is what the straight razor folks get up to, or loaded with abrasive. I'm at this point firmly in the second camp. These are just pieces of heavy-duty cow leather taped to the desk here. The first is loaded with Tormek PA70, which I've used for a long time and I really like. It's a thin paste. It is easier to apply. It's a bit aggressive, but it does smell a little bit because of the ammonia in there. I'm not quite sure what purpose that serves. Maybe some sort of chemical polishing action, cleaning action. It's supposed to be 3 micron, which is only JIS 4000-ish, but the way it's formulated, it seems to break down and polish finer and finer as you go. I hold the angle fairly flat to the bevel at this point. Next stop is 0.5 micron diamond paste. I tend to increase the angle just a little bit here to favor the apex and really work that final edge. And just to be ridiculous, I have a 0.1 micron diamond strop that I've been working on. I just have the diamond powder and I'm working on my own formulation for the paste. I'm not sure if I'm really accomplishing anything at this point, but the results are what I'm looking for, and I'll keep working on the formulation. Hope some found this video useful. I have a few more knife sharpening related videos in the works. Sharpening and blending the bevel on a convex knife is most likely next up, and thanks for watching.